first thing you need to know about your audience are some basic demographics. And I'm going to list them up here. And I'm going to ask you why these various things are important. The first one is age range. Why do you care how old your audience is? Susan.
Appropriate material.
Very true. You don't want to say something to a teen audience that you would to an adult audience. So, yes, you need to know your age range, who you're talking to, and also things you might say to an audience in their 30s is going to be completely different than you're going to speak to an audience in their 80s. So, age range is important. The next is male to female ratio. Why is that important? Why do you care how many males or females are in your audience? Lee.
Different life experiences and concerns.
Exactly. There are things you're going to talk about in a female audience that you wouldn't talk about in a male audience, and vice versa. In addition, stories are going to be a part of your speech. If you're talking to an all-female audience and your stories are all about men, they're not going to be able to relate. So you need to tailor your speech to the people who are in your audience. The stories you tell need to relate to the people in your audience. Another thing you need to know is the occupation and economic status. Why is that important? Why do you care how much money your audience makes? Seba.
Well, I guess if you're selling something, hopefully they'll be able to buy what it is that you're selling.
That is one good reason. There are other reasons. One would be including what their knowledge base is. When you know someone's occupation or economic status, it's not exact, but you have a general idea of what their education is, how much they're going to know about the topic you're talking about, and you're going to know a little bit about their jargon, so you can use language that will reflect something that they understand. Another thing you need to know, obviously, is the educational background. Again, why would that be important? Why do you care how much education that your audience has had? Eric.
Same reason, you just know how to speak to them. And so
right. If I'm talking to a group of PhDs, I can up-level my language. If I'm talking to a bunch of, longshoremen, I'm not going to use as big words. You got to know your audience, you know how to talk to them. Now here's one, political orientation. Why do you care what the politics of the room are? Eric?
if you're speaking to Republicans, don't say something like, I love government, I love big government, and stuff like that.
That is what, yeah. And if you're talking to a Democratic audience, you're not going to go Mitt Romney. Yeah. And there are other reasons too, because there's other types of politics. How liberal, how conservative, but also some audiences aren't going to be political at all. So you can be a little bit more free about what you talk about. And some audiences it's going to be a real sticking point. So you need to watch what you say so that you don't offend them. And finally, this is not necessarily as important, but what are their leisure activities? Knowing your audience's leisure activities is important. Why? Jennifer.
If you're giving a presentation and you have a story that you have involved, you can relate to them by one of the leisure activities that they all have in common.
Exactly. So these are all types of things that you can research and learn about your audience so that you can tailor your speech so that it is more appropriate to them. If you're speaking your audience's language, they're going to engage with you. They're going to understand you. So knowing your audience is really important, and these are the types of things you're going to need to know.